You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he would want you to do: smile, open your eyes, and go on. If someone comes into your life and has a positive impact on you, be thankful that your paths have crossed. And even if they can't stay for some reason, be thankful somehow they brought joy into your life, even if it was just for a short while. Life is change. People come and go. Some stay, some don't, and that's okay. Remember the good times and smile that it happened. And the last one is my poem. Roses are red and violets are blue. Harvey was so madly in love with you. He helped you and cuddled you every single day and was always by your side, eager to play. His laughter was infectious, and everyone would join in. And if you were in his company, you needed to have thick skin. Animals, horses, and books are only a few of the things that he loved. He was always and still is your turtle dove. A friend for life, and were so many, the Jacks and Jerrys, Roberts too, the Larrys and Kens, just to name a few. He was a diamond in the rough, but you could never get enough. Harvey, we will miss you forever and a day, and wish you safe travels as you sail away. With all my love, Bonsai. That was his name that he always called me. Ken? Stuart? Who's coming, Stuart?
I was in the roofing business. In the summer of 1982, Mr. Harvey Rosen requested an estimate for 2000 Lee Road. I met Harvey at his office where he was trading commodities and was the building manager. We had the normal contractor-client meeting. But then, for the next few hours, I was a willing participant and audience for the Harvey show. I don't remember most of what was said. I do recall we established our place in Jewish geography. I was interested and given a short course in commodity trading, and laughter, and a lot of laughter. Most importantly of all, we made a connection. Harvey had my number. He would make an insightful comment, not mean-spirited, but exposing my foibles about something I said, a belief I held, a strength or a weakness of mine. He never failed to elicit a laugh from the gut. A short number of days before his passing, I was at his home while Michelle was at work. He asked what was going on. I started out by talking about inflation, how bad it was, gas prices, how high they were, the Afghanistan debacle, cultural dissonance, and he interrupted me and said, "You sound a little negative." Harvey certainly was not unidimensional. He was very successful trading commodities until his marriage fell apart. He was a perfectionist. Whatever he set his mind to do was beyond reproach. He truly never met a stranger. He cared deeply for Michelle, his children, and friends. I will miss his humor, but most of all, I will miss a solid, decent man who was my friend.
Well, I wasn't prepared to this, but on the way, I was thinking about Harvey and how special Michelle was to me and always has been, and the 30 years that he brought her happiness. I heard this song, Michelle, and I'd like to play it for you. It says something went wrong. Okay, I'll read it. It says, it's called Scars in Heaven. It says, if I only had known the last time would be the last time, I would have put off the things I had to do. I would have stayed a little longer, held you a little tighter. Now would I give for one more day with you, because there's a wound here in my heart where something's missing. And they tell me that it's going to heal with time. But I know you're in a place where all the wounds have been erased, and knowing yours are healed is healing mine. The only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven are on the hands that hold you now. We love you, Harvey.
As a short-time friend of about 30 years, Harvey and I met through Bonnie and Michelle, Bob and Mia. I got to know Harvey fairly well, and he reminded me of something that was a discussion a long time ago in a philosophy class. What is a friend? A friend is a person who will tell you when you're wrong, congratulate you when you're right, but always smile and stay with you and never leave you. There's a couple of quotes that I've looked at, and one of them was by Tennessee Williams, which really I have actually on my desk. And it says, each friend represents a world of us. The world possible not born until they arrive. And it is only by the meeting that the new world is born. That is a friend. Harvey was, I think, amused with me to some degree, having my own business and being in the business of marketing products, which he would recite to me every once in a while that I may have had a BS degree, but it didn't mean Bachelor in Science. He would come over and help me and give me some guidance in carpentry and a few other things. And he would always tell me, you got to measure once, measure twice, and then cut. And of course, I never did that, so my angles and my smiles and my trimming were quite evident. Fortunately for putty, which he handed me every time I did a cut, made up for my sins. Truly great friends are hard to find, and I've been very lucky in my life. I have two friends that I've known since kindergarten, that I still talk to every month at least, some of them more often. But Harvey was one of those guys, and when he would call me and he'd say, ice cream, we would meet at the ice cream parlor, and he would have his chocolate. And during that sit-down, he'd say, well, you look a little grim today. What went wrong? And I would explain to him that, it's one of the business problems that I had. And Harvey would look at me and he'd say, aren't you amused by the answers of your principals? And I'd never thought about it until we talked about maybe a month or so ago when he was in the hospital, and he convinced me that the year of 22 should be a year of amusement and not of madness. That was Harvey's way. He wanted to look at things in a positive manner all the time. He also would look at you and reiterating one of the things that he did is he would look at me sometimes and he'd say, are you embellishing that story? And I said, I never do that as a salesman. I'm going to miss him because of many reasons, but one of them was his counseling. The second thing that I will miss him about is his honesty, his forthrightness to tell you whether you're right or wrong or how he believed it to be. But he also would cover the touchy subjects of politics, medicine, and many other things. And he would discuss them with you. And the real truly thing that happens with friends is you can disagree on almost everything, but you always discuss it and go away knowing that maybe you learned something from the other side or from your own side. To Harvey, have a good time up there. I know you will. That smile and that smirk that you've always had on your face when you told jokes and laughed at them harder than anybody else will make a better world.
My name's Liz, and I was Harvey's daughter. And I've been trying to think about what I would say for a while. And just my mind just always would go blank. So just bear with me, and I'm just going to speak from my heart. So as I sat here today and listened to my dad's friends, I just want to say thank you. Because, I wasn't always in my dad's life. Stuff happened, life happened. And so I'm really grateful that he met Michelle and all of his friends and that he had a family. So thank you. Listening to people talk about how helpful he was, always willing to help out. I don't know where I was going with that. But as far as how I felt about my dad, he was my dad. And regardless of what happened, I had a desire to know him. And for the times and the years that I did get to know him and I was in his life, I'm grateful for. and everything that everybody said here, that he was funny, he was hilarious. We would do little things, like if I would see a funny card, I would like take a picture of it and send it to my dad. And then he would say, oh, well, that's kind of funny, but I've got a funnier one. And he would send me like a text message back. So I guess what I really want to say is, like, I know my dad's gone now. That, you know, his spirit, his soul has separated from his body. And I'm a woman of faith. I believe in God. I believe that our days are numbered and that God has a plan for our lives. I believe that the way that my childhood was and the time apart from my dad shaped me to be who I was, and so I'm thankful for that. I can look in the mirror and I see my dad in me, and so I'm thankful for that. He's half of what makes me me. And so now that he's gone and he leaves, you know, us behind, that's the hardest part, because there's this hole now, a void, because my dad isn't here, but I believe that he's here in spirit. And so I just pray I know in the Psalms, the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And so I pray that for Michelle and all his friends and everybody that he left behind, that he would heal your broken hearts and bind up your wounds. And then I just want to also pray this for Michelle. Michelle, I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you, that the Lord would make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. I pray that the Lord would lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace in your sadness. And I pray that God will good times and all the wonderful memories and love that you and my dad shared. Thank you for taking care of him. He loved you. Love you, Dad.
I just have a few words to say about my beloved Mia and Bob, who took care of Harvey, and Robert would stay with him when I would go to work and feed him pot pies, his favorite. And Stuart would come and he would be there with him. And Maggie would come and give me massages to help me through the day. And my friend Bonnie, she's been with me through thick and thin. She stayed with me for 4 to 5 days. She's been at my house. She's been there all the time. And for my dear friend Lisa, who was always there for me. And all my cousins, Marlene, Diane, and Tony Diane, and my uncle and my aunt. I appreciate everything you did for me. And a few things. And Corey helping me. And Robin calling me all the time. And Judy Saltzman always asking about Harvey every time she came. And Bert, too. Bert went to school with Harvey. And
I scribbled here. I can't read what I wrote, so. And Marie was Harvey's boyfriend. She always called him her boyfriend. And Ken was always there for Harvey. When he came home from the hospital, Harvey was waiting in the wheelchair for 4 hours, and Ken came, and he was there for him, waiting for 4 hours until the stupid people brought him down, because there was nobody to bring him down. And Ken said, I'll go get him. I said, no, you go home. He said, no, I'm not going home. I'm going to be there for him. And then I have to thank Robert's lovely daughters, Meredith and Jack and Jane and Kim. Meredith was always calling me and saying lovely things, and she videoed Harvey telling the story of the hog tie. And her daughter, Hannah, was so loving. She loved that story. And Chelsea was always there, sending me notes. I think I said everybody. But Robert was always ready to help me. He would come and say, what do you want me to do? I'll do whatever you need. And my friend Reva and her husband, Reva asked me every day. She came on Saturday, how's Harvey? How's Harvey? And Stevie and I can't think of the name, Joyce Vermillion asked me all the time. She was a nurse. And Linda Sowers, every time she came, how's everything? How's Harvey? Everybody knew Harvey in the shop because he was always there talking to the ladies and doing whatever. And my cousin Marie, she always said, don't yell at my boyfriend. He's just fine. Well, Harvey, my love, and Turtle Dove, I'll miss you so much. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll get by every day because I have all my friends and all my family on both sides. Marcy, my cousin Ruth, and cousin Paul, Ruggierios, and Salerno. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do the best I can. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I love you all. Thank you. If anyone wants to say anything, you're welcome to it. Otherwise,
Michelle and the rest of the family, I'd like to thank you all for being in attendance. Whenever you're ready, you may exit right out the front door. worked with your wife a number of times. We became quite friendly.
Well, she knows. She knows a few of your people here.
Yeah, I know. Well, when we met, she said, make sure you tell Bart I said hello.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's known Bart for years.
Yeah, that's what she said. So, all right. I want to talk for a little bit. And it was nice meeting you. All right, you take care.
Right, exactly.
So adulated by the younger kids. We already talked about safety. I don't have to repeat everybody else's subject.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that was, yeah, it was. It was, you know, kind of exception. Shadow anybody. Would you for your He was on heights. He was 5 years old. He graduated, I think, in like 56. Yeah. Admit to it. He would never call